Hey guys, Tin Can Gardener here. I'm actually just sitting here going through some seeds for some of my gardeners up north and sending them out. So, I wanted to talk to you guys today about uh, learning how to garden for some of you new people out there that are like, I can't do this. I always hear I have a black thumb. That's nonsense. What you got to do is go to your local library. I know it's unfathomable to go to a library anymore because you have Google, something we didn't have whenever I was a kid. Um, but go to your local library or get online, whatever, watch some YouTube videos, whatever you're going to do, and get some literature or watch some videos. Here's what I'm currently reading: High Value Veggies. And this pretty much gives you a rundown on what vegetables in the market are costing, what's the return on your investment, how much you're putting in, how much you're getting out. And um, some people say that, you know, the opposite end of the spectrum, gardening is easy. You put a hole, you throw a seed, and up comes whatever. That cannot be any further from the truth. Gardening is a science. It does take some know-how. You gotta know what you're doing, and you're gonna fail. That's just the way it is. But you learn from those failures, and it's very important that you learn from those failures because that way you know, get a little notebook. Hey, this didn't work. What did I do? What didn't I do? So you can look back on it and go, oh, okay, I won't do that again. For instance, I've been gardening since I was 5. And whenever I moved to Florida, I did pretty good with a couple gardens. But it was a big learning curve. There's a lot of things down here that will eat everything you grow. Not to mention the heat is ridiculous. I also learned that down here in Florida, you garden in the wintertime. I'm from north and out west. I've gardened out in Colorado and I've gardened up in Ohio. I've even had a garden in Iraq. So it was a really big learning curve because, up north it's pretty much cut and dry. Do your seeds indoors, and in the spring, whenever it's warm enough, plant your stuff outside or harden it off or, that sort of thing, and then harvest in the fall. Overseas, it was interesting because we had sandstorms over there, and I was growing in a piece of PVC, 4-inch PVC that I had found laying around the cob I was at, and I actually had some downtime, so I made a little NFT system and grew peppers out of it, and it worked quite well. I used a detergent bottle up top, and it dripped down to the system and just fed the roots just enough water and down into another detergent bottle. Now these bottles were obviously cleaned out before I used them. The downside of that were the sandstorms because the plant would get covered in sand and it couldn't get light to the leaves, so I was always out there trying to water it, wash it off, and that sort of thing. One moment. Cat's messing with stuff here. Okay, sorry. So back to what I was doing. My cat's over there messing with some laundry, about to pull it on the floor. Cats. So, anywho, yes. So anybody can learn how to garden depending on your area. I do recommend taking a Master Gardener course. Your local county should offer one. It does cost a little money, but you learn a lot. Me personally, I'm an organic grower. I don't like using chemicals. I don't, I'll use neem oil. I'll use some BT. It's the way it is. I have used them in the past whenever I've grown in hydroponics. I use synthesized chemicals. I've used granular, slow release fertilizers, which are all fine things whenever you're properly trained on how to use those things. I personally don't like synthesized fertilizers because of the salt buildups, and it's a big science. You really got to have the tools in order to go that route. There's nothing wrong with it. It ain't my thing anymore. I've graduated on to learning that soil is better. It produces a better taste, and once you learn the diversity in the soil, and the no-till method actually seems, for me personally, is a good method, and you diversify what's going on in that soil, and you can create such an environment for the plant that it just thrives beautifully. And even that's something you can do everything right and it'll still fail sometimes. That's just the way it is. One year, back to the original story, I had my garden and I had gotten some fertilizer, and maybe I wasn't reading the directions or something, and I over fertilized my plants and I killed an entire crop. Oh, well, I won't do that again next year. And read labels. If you are using any synthetic fertilizers, read the labels. It's very important. I also learned using fish emulsions if you have pets, like dogs. Dogs, for some reason, want to sniff it, eat it, roll around in it, and then come in your house. My dogs are guilty of that all the time. And I also used to have a Shih Tzu who's no longer with us, who was an assassin for my tomatoes. He would tear up my tomatoes every year, so I had to learn, fence my stuff off, and make sure that he couldn't get to it. So these are just some things that you'll pick up along the way as you go. And also, if you have questions or any, like your plant's dying of something, dig one up and take it to your local county master gardener office or agricultural office, but take the whole plant in. Don't just take in a leaf and go, what's wrong with my plant? Because they're going to look at you and go, I have no idea. You have to dig up the whole plant, put it in a bag, take it in there, and it's always good to have a soil analysis done in your area as well. Also look up what pest you have at that time of year. I know here we have a serious issue with whitefly on our peppers. We have a serious issue with pickle worms, horned tomato worms. We also have a serious issue with, we get, what are they? Nematodes in the sandy soil, so that'll tear up any root crop that you grow. Also, I know that marigolds fight nematodes and solarizing the soil, all a part of research and things like that. And if you have a problem, research it, figure it out, see what works and what doesn't work. So I just wanted to give you guys this video to encourage you guys, if you're new gardeners or if you're trying to grow a difficult crop, keep plugging away at it, and eventually you'll get it. And if you are looking to make money off of growing a garden and starting a chef's garden or something of that nature, then do it. I mean, it's not going to be easy. Nothing worth having ever is. But you can get this stuff done, and who knows? Maybe you'll produce enough to rent some land and produce more. Some years are going to be good, some years are going to be bad. Me personally, I like growing mainly for seeds. I like to save seeds. I like to trade seeds. I like to, get young gardeners into growing different things, or first-time gardeners, especially children that have never grown nothing. Give them sunflowers or radishes that come up quick, or beans. So these are all things that you can use to get your grandchildren, your children, or maybe your students if you're a teacher involved in some gardening, and open up their world to that, and a whole world of ecological and environmental things that just come off of simple things like gardening. So with that, I'm going to go ahead and end this video out, and get out there and grow something. I know up north it's getting ready to be spring. You guys got that big snow right now, but it'll pass and you'll be able to grow some stuff. All right, guys. Till next time, Tin Can Gardener. Have a good one.